A study done by UN Women UK found that 97% of women from the ages of 18 to 24 have been sexually harassed in some way. However, this doesn't just start from the age of 18. People who identify as female experience these attitudes from young ages, and the attitudes that lead to this harassment can often begin as early as primary school. I am here to talk to you a little bit today about the origins of this kind of behavior that so many young girls receive. As female students, my friends and I have experienced harassment and sexist behavior on a regular basis from a young age. This has not only made us feel extremely powerless, but has shifted our perception on what constitutes as a compliment. So, I would like to use this talk to hopefully raise awareness of hidden behaviors that unintentionally sexualize young girls, even in classroom settings. Hopefully this will help the next generation to be the change so essential to prevent young girls feeling vulnerable. One of the main issues that women and girls face is objectification. So, what is objectification? This can be seen as someone treating someone else as a sexual object who is only present for their own gratification. And whilst this can affect anyone, regardless of gender, it does disproportionately affect women, taking the form of any behavior that makes us feel like a sexual object. A simple example that I'm sure most women have experienced is wolf whistling. Not only can this make women and girls feel unsafe on the streets, but it also makes us feel like we are only viewed in a sexual way by the men around us. Emma Young, a woman who lives in New York City, recorded 10 hours of herself walking through the city, in which time she experienced over 100 instances of verbal street harassment. The experience of Emma, and so many others like her, begs the question, where does all of this behavior originate? How do young boys grow into men that treat women like objects? As a young adult growing up, I've noticed that the unwarranted sexualization of young girls often starts in early secondary school. Therefore, I think that the best way to analyze the origins of this behavior is to track the issues created in a school environment and to see how they translate into later life. The first issue, which may at face value seem extremely reasonable, is the enforcement of strict school dress codes, which can disproportionately affect girls. While these rules can be extremely helpful to make sure students don't appear unprofessional, it can unintentionally sexualize young girls. For example, non-school uniform rules prevent girls from showing their shoulders, knees, and stomachs, as it might distract male teachers and students. While you might think this is implausible, I was told this when I was just 13 by a teacher. These kinds of comments imply that normal parts of our bodies, such as shoulders and stomachs, are inherently sexual, and that girls are to blame for any unwanted attention they receive at school. When students hear these kind of comments, they internalize this, and it starts to present in their behaviors. These can be behaviors such as boys making unnecessary comments about a girl's clothing or her body, which can either be derogatory or objectifying. As a student at school, you want to feel safe and not have men eyeing you up for what you're wearing, or teachers pulling you aside because men are eyeing you up. School uniform rules that enforce these sexualizing behaviors can make girls not only feel ashamed of their own bodies, but also uncomfortable in what should primarily be a safe learning environment. Whilst you can understand that schools want pupils to look smart, dress codes are a temporary solution to avoid instances of boys objectifying and harassing girls at school, and to avoid having to take the time to educate the male student body. This can lead to even bigger problems in the future for women, which could be caused by these objectifying behaviors that are instilled in boys from such a young age. How often do you hear of women being referred to as sluts for wearing short skirts or strappy tops? This is just the baseline kind of comment a woman can receive based on these attitudes, and this can then advance into further forms of harassment and even sexual assault, because men feel like they have ownership over women's bodies. And in these cases, despite women being the victim, they are often blamed by men and other women for their experience, based on what they were wearing. The second and more unusual issue is when women are sexualized for removing their body hair. This originates from the porn industry, where women are glamorized for having no body hair, and it has now become a social norm for women to shave their legs and other parts of their bodies, which can make us feel extremely insecure, as most girls and women are judged if they don't conform to these expectations. I personally remember being teased at the age of 11 for my leg hair, and this has had an extremely negative impact on my self-confidence growing up. However, the main issue with our obsession with clean-shaven girls and women is that it idolizes the appearance of prepubescent girls, leading to a warped adult perspective on what we find sexually attractive. This creates an environment where young women feel uncomfortable about their natural body hair, as their peer group view it as unattractive and unhygienic. However, this expectation can lead to something much more severe. Now, you might be saying, what could we actually do to counter the behaviors I've mentioned in this talk? How can we possibly prevent something so ingrained in our views? Well, it's not an easy road, but the first step, as with anything, is talking about it. No one talks about these social norms, so no one sees it as a problem. But as a young woman, I can tell you that it really is. So, try your best to raise awareness of these issues, talk to your friends and family, and try and make them question these behaviors. It's important to know that you can be the start of major social change. You don't have to be the next Greta Thunberg, but having conversations with your friends and family could be the beginning of wider change. So, talk to your partner. Having preferences about body hair is totally okay, but maybe analyze why you have these preferences. Who made you feel like it was more sexually attractive? And remember that women have autonomy over our own bodies, and we should not be made to feel uncomfortable for the decision. And to the women in the audience, never apologize for having body hair. It's completely natural and nothing to be ashamed of. On a wider scale, as a society, we can implement strategies to make women and girls feel more safe and less vulnerable. One way in which this can be done is through improved teacher training about the unintended consequences these school dress codes may have on young girls. When teachers choose their career, it's important to understand that they are also cultivating today's youth. The impact it can have on children's lives when these strict dress codes are created and then enforced is wider than they might realize. Teachers can have an incredibly positive impact on the social views of today's youth, as young people spend the majority of their time in school. Therefore, more comprehensive teacher training needs to be implemented to ensure that teachers have the tools they need to do this. As well as this, implementing new dress codes that make girls feel supported rather than shamed by their teachers and peers could help avoid sexist behaviors developing in young men. It's still possible to look smart and professional with strappy tops. This combined with a comprehensive education that fundamentally reframes how boys view women, rather than punishing girls, could help battle objectifying attitudes in future generations. So in short, educate men, don't punish women. And finally, I want to address the men in the room. Not catcalling women is the bare minimum you have to do to be a supportive man. Remember, if you are complicit in a friend's behavior, you are perpetuating the issue. So, please call out your friends if they objectify women. It's not enough to not be sexist. You have to actively support equality. So, consciously make an effort to be a part of the change. Educate your friends, never stay silent, and don't be an apologist. Thank you very much.